H. Abondobar from this Bio 1A. For today's video, I am going to discuss about Bryophytes classification and characteristics. So, number 1 is moss. The scientific name, Bryophyta. Characteristics, moss. Division, Bryophyte of at least 12,000 species of small non-vascular spore-bearing land plants. So, mosses are distributed throughout the world except in salt water and are commonly found in moist, shady locations. So, they are best known for those species that carpet woodland and forest floors. Ecologically, mosses break down exposed substrata, releasing nutrients for the use of more complex plants that succeed them. So they also aid in soil erosion control by providing surface cover and absorbing water, and they are important in the nutrient and water economy of some vegetation types. Economically important species are those in the genus Sphagnum that from Hep. So classification. Mosses are bryophytes that live in many environments and are characterized by their short, flat leaves, root-like rhizoids, and peristomes. So mosses have green, flat structures that resemble true leaves which absorb water and nutrients. Some mosses have small branches. Mosses have traits that are adaptations to dry land, such as stomata present on the stems of the sporophyte. So let us proceed to Gymnosperms. So conifers, Pinophyta. Characteristics. Most conifers are evergreens. They remain green in all seasons because the leaves live for several years and are not all shed at the same time in autumn. Unlike broad-leaved trees, these conifers replace their leaves by shedding them gradually throughout the year and growing new needles or scales. So, however, certain species, example, larch, have deciduous foliage like bird-leaved trees. So, their leaves turn yellow in autumn and are all shed at the same time, leaving the tree leafless throughout winter. So these conifers renew their leaves each year. So its classification with 7 extant families, 68 genera, and 544 species. Classification of the extant conifers remains controversial. Disagreement exists throughout the classification so that the numbers of others, families, genera, and species are all disputed. The classification outlined here reflects current opinion for living conifers but simplifies extinct groups because the number of families to be recognized among the fossils is so uncertain. Extinct groups are indicated by a dagger. So another gymnosperm is cycads. Cycad. Any of the palm-like woody plants that constitute the order Cycadales. The order consists of 3 extant families, Cycadaceae, Strongyraceae, and Samiaceae, which contain 10 to 11 genera and 306 species. Some authorities use the term cycad to refer to all members of the division Cycadophyta. So plants of this division are known to have existed in the Mesozoic era about 252.2 million to 66 million years ago. Only the order Cycadales contain living species. Cycads are gymnosperms distinguished by crown of large, pinnately compound leaves and by cones typically borne at the ends of the branches. So some cycads have tall unbranched trunks with an armor-like appearance. Others have partially bored stems with swollen, tuberous trunks. The stem has a large pit surrounded by a narrow zone of soft wood tissue. So the classifications of the cycads. The classification places 11 genera and 3 families in hierarchical structure. So the order Cycades 3 families ay Cycadacea, Strongacea, and Samiacea. So next are ginkgo, Ginkgopsida. Common name, maidenhair tree. Family, Ginkgogaceae. Native range, southern China. So characteristics, Ginkgo biloba is a large deciduous tree that matures to 100 tall and is considered to be a living fossil. It is the only surviving member of a group of ancient plants believed to have inhabited the earth up to 150 million years ago. It features distinctive two-lobed, somewhat leathery, fan-shaped, rich green leaves with diverging, almost parallel veins. Leaves turn bright yellow in fall. Ginkgo trees are commonly called maidenhair trees in reference to the resemblance of their fan-shaped leaves to maidenhair fern. Leaflets, pinnae. Ginkgos are dioecious, separate male and female trees. So nurseries typically sell only male trees because female trees produce seeds encased in fleshy fruit-like cone, which at maturity in autumn are messy and emit a noxious fall odor upon falling to the ground and splitting open. So scientific classification of ginkgo. So kingdom, from the kingdom Plantae, clade Bryophytes, Gymnospermia. Division Ginkgophyta. Subclass Ginkgopsida. In the order Ginkgoales. Family Ginkgoaceae. Genus Ginkgo. Species G. Ginkgo biloba. The Ginkgo biloba is one of the oldest living tree species in the world. So, it's the sole survivor of a science group of trees that date back to before dinosaurs roamed the earth, creatures that lived between 245 and 66 million years ago. It's so ancient, the species is known as a living fossils. So next species is from Pteridophytes. So a fern is any one of the group of plants classified in the division Pteridophyta, formerly known as Philisophyta. A fern is a vascular plant that differs from the more primitive lycophytes in having true leaves, megaphyls, and from the more advanced seed plants, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms, in lacking seeds and instead reproductive with spores. Plant characteristics. Ferns are seedless vascular plants of humid tropics and temperate areas. So some fern lives under subarctic conditions as well. Plant body is a sporophyte. It is differentiated into two stems, leaves, and roots. The stem is underground rhizome in most of the ferns. Some primitive ferns have a broad stem with tree-like habit. So they are called tree ferns. Example, Cyathea. Saluteum, a tree fern, is like a small palm. It may reach a maximum height of 20 meters. So roots are adventitious. So plant classification. A fern is any one of a group of about 20,000 species of plants classified into phylum or division Pteridophyta, also known as Philisophyta. The group is also referred to as Polypodiophyta or Polypodiopsida when treated as a subdivisions of Tracheophyta vascular plants. So, these ferns are plants that do not have flowers. So next are horsetail. So horsetail genus Equisitum, also called scoring rush, 15 species of rush-like conspicuously jointed perennial herbs. the only living genus of plants in the order Equisetalis, and in the class Equisitopsida. Horsetails grows in moist, rich soils in all parts of the world except Australia. Some species produce two kinds of shoots, those with cone-like clusters, strobili of spore capsules, and those lacking such structures. So some evergreen, others send up new shoots annually from underground rootstocks. Their hollow-jointed, ridged stems contain silicate and other minerals. The leaves are produced to sheets that clasp and encircle the shoots. So another Pteridophytes, the club mosses. So Lycopodiopsida, characteristic club moss family Lycopodiaceae, also called ground vine, order of a single family Lycopodiaceae comprising some 400 species of seedless vascular plants. So the taxonomy of the family has been contentious with a number of genera varying depending on the source. The plants are mainly native to tropical mountains but are also common in northern forests of both hemispheres. See also lycophyte and lower vascular plant. The major genera and species in 2016, the Pteridophyte phylogenic group, an informal group of taxonomic from around the world, published their first taxonomy consensus known as PPGI. The system recognized 16 genera in the family Lycopodiaceae, including Hoppersea, 10 to 15 species, Lycopodistella, 15 species, and Lycopodium, 9 to 15 species. So next is Angiosperm. So rose, scientific name Rosa, scientific classification from Kingdom Plantae, division Magnoliophyta, class Magnoliophytida. The order Rosales, family Rosaceae, subfamily genus Rosa. What is a rose? So rose is a flowering shrub of the genus Rosa. There are more than 100 species of wild rose, which are endemic, native only to the northern hemisphere. The term is also used to refer to the flower of this shrub. So the rose has always been a symbol of love and passion. But in science, rose is already perennial flowering plant of the genus Rosa. So rose, a genus of some 100 species of perennial shrubs in the rose family Rosaceae. Roses are native primarily to the temperate regions of the northern hemispheres. Many roses are cultivated for their beautiful flowers, which range in color from white to various tones of yellow and pink colors, crimson and maroon, and most have a delightful fragrance, which varies according to the variety and climatic conditions. The identification. The flowers of most species have 5 petals, except Rosa serracea, which usually has only 4. Each petal is divided into 2 distinct lobes and is usually white or pink, though in a few species yellow and red. The next Angiosperm species is sunflower. Scientific name Helanthus annus. Characteristics. The common sunflower is an annual herb with a rough hairy stem 1 to 4.5 meters, 3 to 15 feet high and broad, coarsely toothed, rough leaves 7.5 to 30 cm, 3 to 12 inches long, arranged in spiral. The attractive heads of flowers are 7.5 to 15 cm wide in wild specimens and often 30 cm or more in cultivated types. The disc flowers are brown, yellow, or purple, while the petal-like gray flowers are yellow. The fruit is a single-seeded achene. All seed varieties typically have small black achenes, while those ground for direct seed consumption, known as confection varieties, have larger black and white achenes that readily separate from the seed within. Sunflowers are native primarily to North and South America, and some species are cultivated as ornamentals for their spectacular size and flower heads and their edible seeds. Scientific classification: Kingdom from the Kingdom Plantae, class Magnoliopsida, order Asterales, family Asteraceae, genus Helianthus, species Helianthus anus. Sunflower is the common name for any of the plants of the genus Helianthus of the flowering plant. The common sunflower, which is characterized by a long stem and a large flowering head, inflorescence with large seeds. The term sunflower also refers to this plant's seed-like fruit, commonly but incorrectly called the seeds, are the encased edible true seeds. The importance of sunflower to humans: the seeds are high in protein and rich in healthy fat, as well as antioxidants that can lower your risk of developing serious conditions. Next is the gomamela. Scientific name is Hibiscus rosa senensis. So what is gomamela? Flower. So this flower can grow from about 4 to 8 inches wide, but it can reach up to 10 inches in width. Each flower has both male stamen and female ovary parts. Every stalk has one flower, and most flowers have 5 petals. So these flowers usually have no scent. The gomamela flower attracts butterflies and moths and is a food source for their larvae. The classification of hibiscus divides all living organisms into 7 categories. So these categories are kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So Hibiscus rosa senensis names the genus Hibiscus and species of the plant Rosa senensis. The Hibiscus genus is of the family Malvaceae, which belongs to kingdom Plantae. Plants subkingdom Trachobionta, basilar plant. Superphylum Spermatophyta, seed plants. Phylum Magnoliophyta, flowering plants. Class Magnoliopsida, dicots, and order Malvaceae. So the identification is it native to the Southeast Asia. Other names for it include shoe flower, tropical hibiscus, and the rose of China. The flowers of the gomamela can be white, pink, red, yellow, peach, and purple. Gardeners cultivate more than 300 species of plant worldwide. So they are primarily grown as an ornamental plants, and the flowers and leaves have medicinal properties. Hibiscus has a long life, with some lasting more than 50 years. So characteristic. So the gomamela is a fast-growing evergreen shrub with dark green and glossy leaves with dicot flowers. The leaves are oval and they measure between 3 inch to 4 inch long. The edges of the leaves often are slightly serrated. So they arrange themselves in spiral patterns and alternate around a long stalk. Gomamela is not just a blossom of beauty, but a possible ingredient for good health. It can help a human by preventing cancer, according to the study. So that's all. Thank you.